Met out front, tonight at 7 on CNN, and watch on the CNN app.
We're back with our politics lead. The board of the Kennedy Center voted to rename the renowned performing arts facility in D.C. the Trump Kennedy Center, saying in a statement that the, quote, unanimous vote recognizes that the current chairman, that's President Trump, quote, saved the institution from financial ruin and physical destruction. We should note the vote was actually not technically unanimous. Here with me now is Democratic Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, who serves as an ex officio member of the Kennedy Center board. So, Congresswoman, you attempted to object to this vote today, but tell us what happened.
That is true. At the end of the meeting, it was brought to our attention that the Kennedy Center was going to now be renamed. And at that time in the official board meeting, they said Trump Center. At that time, and we have a mute-unmute button. I had been unmuted all along, and as I wanted to ask questions, you know, traditionally on a board, and especially a board of this caliber, you would have said the study committee, the naming rights committee, we had meetings, there was no discussion, just some of President Trump's cronies announced, oh, we've got this new thing we're going to tell you, we're going to rename it. At that time, President Trump said, oh, I didn't even know about it. All of this is absurd. And at that time, I wanted to ask questions, voice my opposition, ask why, and immediately I was muted. And as I continued to press unmute, I then received a message saying I would not be unmuted. As I continued to push the button, and we have screenshots of this from my end. We then got a message and said participants will not be unmuted. They proceeded to say it was unanimous. Right. That is not true. And as an ex officio member, according to the John F. Kennedy Amendment Act of 1994, ex officio members do have a right to vote. I have voted previously, and certainly we have a right to speak and to voice my opinion on things. And so I was very bothered about this, and I want the record to be straight. It was not unanimous, and when you think of not allowing me to even speak, that's a form of censorship.
Right.
So it was not unanimous, it was not by consensus, it was by censorship.
So let's put up the website again if we can, guys, and I just want to bring people's attention. On the top left of your screen, it says the Trump Kennedy Center. They've already changed the website. It's not clear at all that actually the board has the ability legally to rename the Kennedy Center. And former Congressman Joe Kennedy III, the grandnephew of President John F. Kennedy, after whom the Kennedy Center is named, responded on social media saying the Kennedy Center is a living memorial to a fallen president and named for President Kennedy by federal law. It can no sooner be renamed than someone can rename the Lincoln Memorial, no matter what anyone says, unquote. What do you make of the fact that they've already changed the website?
Well, of course, this is what they do. They have no regard for the rule of law. They're acting as what criminals do. And it's criminal that they are doing this. I served with Joe Kennedy when I first went on the board. He's absolutely right. They cannot independently, as a handful of self-appointed people who giggled and laughed, the whole board meeting was a mockery of professional boards. There were 10 or 15 minutes where we could hear people laughing and singing jingle bells because they didn't know how to even operate the equipment. The board meeting was held in someone's home, the home of the Winds, that were hosting it. I don't know if they were in their library, the kitchen, or where they were. Typically on a Zoom, you can see the table where the board members are. None of this happened. It was a farce, just as most of the things that they have been doing. It was a dog and pony show to Donald Trump, that he had cut down trees. He claimed that the whole Kennedy Center was crumbling, and he came in and saved it. It's all very disappointing.
And we should note that President Trump called the board a very distinguished board, but he fired members of the board. Earlier this year, and they're led now not only by President Trump, but a bunch of Trump acolytes and sycophants like Rick Grinnell, and Dan Scavino and Pam Bondi, a couple of his sycophants at Fox, Maria Bartiromo and Laura Ingraham. Anyway, Congresswoman Joyce Beatty, Democrat from Ohio. Thanks so much. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
Thanks,
a live
Jay.
look at the Capitol tonight where a funding fight could have a detrimental impact on children with cancer. A woman in the middle of that fight, who we interview all the time about this issue, will join me next.
Mopping is hard work, but I thought it was the only way I can get my floors truly clean. And then I tried the Swiffer Power Mop and realized I can get cleaner floors without the extra work. It has a built-in solution that breaks down dirt on contact, and the pad's hundreds of strips scrub away sticky messes even from grout lines. Okay, Power Mop. Plus, its 360-degree swivel head cleans up along baseboards and even behind the toilet. So ditch the bucket and all the hard work that comes along with it. With the Swiffer